sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, so, AI is kind of a big deal these days. And this news probably blew your mind. On President Trump's second inauguration day, boom, $500 billion AI infrastructure deal just drops. We're calling this deep dive Stargate hype or history in the making. Let's dig into this Forbes article and find out if it lives up to the hype.
Yeah, what's really fascinating here is the scale of this deal. I mean, being compared to the Apollo program, that put us on the moon. But this time, instead of shooting for the moon, we're talking about a future totally powered by artificial intelligence.
Okay, so break it down for me, Stargate. This is like a $500 billion partnership, right?
Yeah, you got it. A staggering $100 billion invested just in year one. And it's not just about the algorithms. It's about building the whole thing, the ecosystem, massive data centers, the computing power of thousands of NVIDIA's best chips, a global network of talent, all working to make this happen.
Wow, so it's like building the foundation for a whole AI-powered society. And we're talking some serious players here. Oracle, OpenAI, NVIDIA, and SoftBank. What's the deal? Who's doing what?
Okay, so you've got Oracle with their cloud infrastructure. They're basically providing the digital real estate for this whole project. Then you've got NVIDIA. Their chips are the workhorses, providing the raw computing power to train and run these super complex AI models. Then there's OpenAI, the folks behind ChatGPT and that GPT-3 language model. They're probably leading the charge on developing the AI brains of the operation. And then SoftBank, known for their strategic bets on emerging tech. They're adding another layer of financial and strategic muscle to the mix.
All right, so we've got the money, the hardware, the software. But OpenAI CEO Sam Altman called this the most important project of this era. Is that just hype, or is there something more to it?
Well, it's a bold statement for sure, but think about what AI could do. The potential is huge. It can change every industry. Take healthcare. Imagine AI analyzing medical images way better than human doctors, earlier diagnoses, more effective treatments, or personalized education AI tutors that adapt to each student's learning style and pace.
Okay, that's pretty incredible. But what about all the talk about AI taking over jobs?
Well, let's look at manufacturing. It's already seen a ton of automation. But with AI-powered robots that can do more complex tasks, we might see more customized production, maybe even bring manufacturing back to local communities. But yes, some jobs will be lost for sure. We'll need retraining. We'll need to develop skills that work with AI, not compete with it.
So it's not just about the tech, it's about how we adapt as a society and prepare for this AI-powered world.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not just blue-collar jobs that'll be affected in finance law. These fields could see huge changes as AI takes over things like data analysis, contract review, and even financial forecasting.
So Stargate isn't just about building cool tech, it's about reshaping the entire global economy. And speaking of which, Oracle stock jumped 7% when the deal was announced. I guess investors are pretty excited about this, huh?
Oh yeah, the financial world is definitely paying attention. This deal is a sign that AI is moving from the lab into the real world. Investors want to get in on the ground floor. And Oracle being the infrastructure provider, they're in a great position to profit from this AI boom.
And Larry Ellison, Oracle's chairman, became $12 billion richer practically overnight. That's enough to make him the third richest person in the world. I guess AI is good business these days.
It really highlights how much wealth is being generated in tech. And it raises questions about power and influence.
Yeah.
Who have it? And then there's SoftBank. They were big players in President Trump's first term. They pledged billions to U.S. tech companies.
Interesting. So we've got these tech giants with ties to the administration, a massive AI deal with global implications. It's all connected.
It just reminds us that technology isn't separate from everything else. How we develop and deploy powerful tech like AI is shaped by political decisions and economic interests.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. The article says OpenAI will have operational responsibility for Stargate. What does that mean exactly? Are they calling all the shots?
It looks like OpenAI will be leading the development and use of this AI infrastructure. They'll probably set the research agenda, shape the algorithms, maybe even create the ethical guidelines. It raises questions, though, about how much influence one company will have over something this huge.
Okay, so that's a little worrying. And we keep hearing how AI will be transformative and revolutionary. But what about the downsides? What are the risks here?
That's the key question, right? We've got this amazing potential for positive change, but we can't forget about the risks. I think one of the biggest concerns is bias. You know how these AI systems can amplify societal biases? If the data used to train these models has those historical inequalities baked in, then the systems are going to perpetuate those biases. And that leads to unfair outcomes, discrimination.
So it's not just about building powerful AI, but building it responsibly, ethically. But who gets to decide what ethical AI even means?
Yeah, that's a tough question. There's no easy answer. We've got this growing movement pushing for ethical guidelines and regulations for AI development, but this is totally new territory, figuring out the balance between innovation and preventing harm. It's tricky.
Yeah, it's like walking a tightrope. Too much regulation could stifle progress, but too little, and we end up with those unintended consequences.
See, exactly. It's going to take a nuanced approach. We need policymakers, researchers, industry leaders, and the public all working together.
Okay, this is all pretty serious. Can we lighten things up a bit? We're talking about AI. I mean, it's practically science fiction already. You know that movie Her, where the guy falls in love with his AI assistant? Could that actually happen?
Well, AI systems are getting super sophisticated. They can almost simulate human conversation, even emotions. But we got to remember, these systems are still just tools. They aren't conscious. They don't have real feelings.
Okay, so no AI romances for now. Back to the real world stuff. We talked about job displacement and ethical concerns, but what about AI being used for bad things?
That's a huge concern. The same tech that could revolutionize healthcare could also be used to do harm.
Like what specifically? What are we talking about here?
Well, imagine AI-powered surveillance systems, tracking people's every move with incredible accuracy. Or think about deepfakes, AI-generated videos that spread misinformation and erode trust in our institutions.
Okay, now I'm getting nervous. This is starting to sound like a dystopian novel.
But remember, technology itself isn't good or bad. It's all about how we choose to use it. It could be a force for good or for bad.
So how do we make sure AI is used for good? I mean, it feels so powerful, almost like opening Pandora's box.
We can't really control AI. It's more about guiding it, making sure it develops in a way that matches our values and goals as a society.
That makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
But how do we do that practically? It's such a complicated issue with so many different people involved.
It'll take a multifaceted approach. One key thing is transparency and accountability in AI development. You got to know how these systems are built, what data they're trained on, what biases might be hiding in their algorithms.
So we need to lift the curtain, see what's really going on, make sure AI development isn't happening in a black box.
Right. And we need a public conversation about AI and what it means. We got to talk about the ethical dilemmas, the societal impacts, the potential risks and benefits.
It sounds like we all need to become a lot more AI literate.
Absolutely. The more we understand about AI, the better we can deal with its complexities and shape its future.
Okay, so we've talked about Stargate revolutionizing industries, the need for ethical guidelines, and the risks of misuse. But let's bring it back to our listeners. How might Stargate affect their lives in the next 5 to 10 years?
That's a great question. It's tough to predict the future, but I think AI is going to become even more integrated into our daily lives, whether we realize it or not.
So it's not just about robots doing our chores, but AI influencing everything. The way we workshop, interact with the world around us.
Exactly. AI-powered recommendations that personalize our online experiences. Voice assistants that get more helpful. Smart cities that use AI to make traffic flow better and manage resources.
Sounds like AI is going to be everywhere, like the internet or smartphones.
It's definitely heading that way. And like any big technological shift, it'll bring challenges and opportunities.
I'm starting to think Stargate isn't just a big tech deal. It's a turning point for humanity.
It could be. And it raises a lot of big questions that we'll need to figure out as a society.
Yeah, this is a lot to process. We've covered so much, but there's still more to explore.
Yeah, we've just scratched the surface of this topic. It's complex, and there's so many different facets.
We keep coming back to these big companies, especially Oracle. It's interesting. They also host TikTok's US data. Remember that whole thing about banning the app?
Right. Oracle played a big role in that.
Yeah.
They were key in navigating that whole mess of technology politics and national security.
So they're kind of the go-to guys for handling sensitive data, which makes their involvement in Stargate even more interesting. Is there a connection here? Is this America's way of building their own AI-powered platform, like a rival to TikTok maybe?
It's hard to say for sure, but yeah, it's possible that those events are related. Stargate could be part of a bigger strategy to make sure the U.S. stays on top in the tech world.
It's like a chess game almost. These tech giants and governments making their moves, trying to get ahead in this AI-powered future.
That's a good way to put it. And just like chess, every move has consequences. Things change. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Okay, before we wrap this up, I got to ask the question that's probably on everyone's mind. If Stargate really is the most important project of this era, how could it change our listeners' life in the next 5 to 10 years?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's tough to predict the future, but I think we'll see AI becoming even more a part of our everyday lives, whether we realize it or not.
So more than just robots doing our dishes, it's AI changing how we live, how we work, how we shop, how we interact with everything around us.
Exactly. Think about it. Personalized healthcare recommendations from AI smart homes that know what we need before we even ask AI could help us solve some of the biggest problems we face, like climate change or even finding cures for diseases.
Wow, this is getting pretty optimistic. Are you sure you're not some AI program to make the future sound amazing?
I'm definitely human, but I do think AI can be a powerful force for good. It all comes down to us, how we develop and use it.
So we're not giving up control to the machines. It's more about shaping the future we want.
That's it. We have choices. We have a voice. We have a responsibility to make sure AI is used ethically for everyone's benefit.
This has been quite a journey. We started with a news story about a big AI deal and ended up talking about the future of humanity.
That's what happens when you really explore something. You find connections, you question your assumptions, and you get a deeper understanding of what's shaping the world.
Well, it's safe to say Stargate is a story we'll be following for a while, and I'm excited to see how this AI revolution plays out.
Me too. It's an exciting time to be alive, and I'm hopeful that we can use the power of AI to make things better for everyone.
And to our listeners, if Stargate really does open the door to a new era, how will you walk through it? This is just the beginning. Keep exploring, keep learning, keep asking questions. The future of AI is in our hands.